Hey everyone, we are live in the newsroom today with Julie Williams, our brand new anchor for our morning show. If you were watching this morning, you saw her on her debut. So I'm going to pass the mic over to her so we can get to know her a little bit better.
Well, thank you, and good morning, of course. Good morning. I know a lot of folks are just getting to work right now.
Well, it's really excited to have you on board today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from in Michigan, and where you came from.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in Kalamazoo, went to Otsego High School, and I was fortunate enough to go to Loyola University in Chicago. So go Blurs and go Sister Jean. I've met her, and she's a beautiful person. And then I moved up to Marquette, Michigan, up in the UP. So I got up there October 2017. So I worked there for about a year and some change. I started out as an MMJ, or a reporter, a multimedia journalist. And I did that for about a year. And then I transitioned to the weekend anchor up there. And then just about a week and a half ago, I moved down to Lansing here. So still living in Kalamazoo with Mom. So that's been an adjustment too, but she's let me back into our home, so thanks, Mom. Making the commute for now, but my father and my aunt, hi Aunt Marion, both went to MSU, so really like the Lansing area. I studied political science as well, so the happenings at the Capitol fascinate me, and I'm really excited to be back downstate.
So why don't you talk to people and tell them about the regular schedule that you're on now? Because probably a lot of people don't realize what it takes to be a morning anchor.
Don't realize it. And to be fair, I didn't either, and I accepted the role. So right now with the commute from Kalamazoo, I'm waking up at about 11 p.m. So my shift is about 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. Come in. I have a lovely producer, Jill. She helps me put the show together, and we kind of work together, and then doing some reports, and then we go live at 7 a.m. So working about 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. That means I'm waking up about 11:45 p.m. to get up, at least shower, and then hit the road. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive, so it's not too bad, but it's been an adjustment. I am a sleeper. I like my sleep, but I'm also a night owl, so the adjustment hasn't been too hard yet.
So I know that you love the summers. So
yes.
This probably the winter weather is probably a little rough.
Yes.
Summer weather, Michigan. What's your favorite part of summer?
Oh, the beach. I love swimming. If my friends will attest to this, we'll go to the beach and I am just running into the water. I love, the beach and the atmosphere and warming up on the sun or the sand in the sunshine, but I am jumping in Lake Michigan, was jumping in Lake Superior this summer, even though in August it was still cold enough to take your breath away. But that is the big part for me, the sunshine and just swimming. We have Lake Michigan, we have all these beautiful inland lakes. Why not take advantage of it? So that's my go-to, jumping in whenever I can.
Now, you're a political science major. You're working in TV media right now. What brought you into this industry, and what sustains you in this industry?
Yeah, I had kind of a unique college experience. I didn't declare my major until junior year. So I was kind of debating between elementary education and journalism. But, ever since I was in third grade, I just knew I wanted to write. I loved reporting. I liked the aspect of going out, getting the story, and then relating it back to someone. And I kind of like to know what's going on and be able to tell people, hey, I know this, or kind of get people in the loop that way. So when I was thinking about it, the writing aspect is really what got me into journalism and what got me focused and staying on the career path that I've chosen. And I'm so glad that I have. Loyola had a really good broadcast program, but it's really, as I've been in this industry and working professionally, just being able to meet people and to tell their story in a way that makes sense to viewers, and just kind of being that relatable face, that safe space for people to tell their stories has just been probably my favorite part of the career so far.
So everyone, we are live with Julie Williams in the newsroom. She is our new anchor for the 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Some of you may have been watching. Feel free to leave a comment. So if there is a question that you have for Julie, just throw it out there. We're going to be talking with her for the next few minutes here to let you get to know her and let you know a little bit more about her. So Julie, why don't you tell us what's your. We're gonna go personal here and say, what's your favorite movie genre?
That I would probably have to say is horror. That goes back to my childhood. I have two cousins who helped, they were babysitting me all the time. Hi, Anna and Jenna. And they loved horror movies, and I think that just kind of got me started on that track. And it's funny because now that I'm moved home, I was living alone in the UP, so didn't watch them quite as often because it was a little scarier when you don't have mom under the same roof. So now that I'm home, I'm binging on horror movies again. But I also love comedy. You got to have something to kind of lighten up the mood after you watch a scary movie. So anything kind of comedy. I like a lot of kind of the maybe raunchier comedies, like, Judd Apatow movies, that kind of thing. I like kind of that, guy humor, maybe, so to speak, but I think it's everyone's humor. So horror and comedy are my big ones, but I love movies. If you put a movie on, even if I, say I don't like it, I'm still going to sit down and watch it. So horror and comedy are probably the big two. Not a big romance movie person. Do love The Notebook, but other than that, they just don't keep my attention.
What about music?
Music, ooh, that's a tough one. I don't want to be too broad and say I like everything. I'm not a big country person. There are some country songs I will attest are great, and I give credit to all musicians out there making their music. But I do listen to a lot of rap. Kanye and Kendrick are some of my favorites. J. Cole. I've got a huge crush on him. But, I was raised too on the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac and, the music of my parents' generation. And you can never go wrong with Motown. I am a huge Stevie Wonder person. I was blasting him on the drive over from Kalamazoo this morning, actually. So trying to get in the mood, get in a good mood for Monday morning to start my week off.
Now, I hear that you are a huge Red Wings fan.
Yes.
So tell me, what made you such a huge fan?
It's interesting because my family is a big Detroit Tigers family. So, we bleed blue and orange. And then all of a sudden, it was as I was kind of graduating high school, going to college, I just started really getting more and more interested in hockey. And going to school in Chicago, I'm not a Blackhawks fan. So I think that also kind of just instilled in me kind of that Red Wings pride, having to represent, to all my friends and roommates who are lovely people, but they are Blackhawks fans, so I had to make sure that the Red Wings were represented, Detroit, Motor City, and so I think it kind of grew from there. So I won't say I'm a lifelong fan because it did develop once I kind of went to college, but since then, they've been my boys.
So what about favorite foods from Michigan?
Ooh, well, blueberries are my absolute favorite food of all time. So it's fitting that that's a Michigan food. I eat those, like candy. And I think maybe that's what I like about them. It's because it's like potato chips. You don't have to peel anything off. You just, eat them. So they just remind me of road trips in the summertime over to South Haven. They remind me of my grandparents, going blueberry picking. And since then, everyone just kind of knows I'm a blueberry gal. And strawberries. You can never go wrong with strawberries either. So we're fortunate, in Michigan to have blueberries and strawberries, and I'm more than thankful for it because, like I said, those are some of my favorite foods. So.
Now, you mentioned that one of the things that you love to do in the news is to make those connections with people, and I'm sure that in your career so far, you've made some good connections and probably reported on some stories that were very meaningful to you. What was the most meaningful story that you reported on or that you investigated in your career so far? Yeah,
I think, when people ask me that question, what stands out most to me was the Father's Day flooding in Houghton. Up in the Upper Peninsula on June 17th of last year, floods ripped through the entire city. I was first on scene up there as the weekend reporter for TV6, and just seeing, I don't want to say devastation, but just what those floodwaters did to the city. And, we were fortunate. We had reporters all over, the city, the county that day, but I was first on scene up there and just seeing kind of the total shock and awe of everyone. I interviewed a 9-year-old boy whose home, his street had just been ripped apart, and he said it looked like Godzilla had come through, and he was right. He wasn't wrong by any means. And so just seeing that happen and just knowing that the entire country, was watching what was happening in the Upper Peninsula. And then I think what got me too was just going up week after week, to see the progress that all these volunteers were making, putting the city, putting the county back together. I went up the weekend after I covered it, and Agate Street is this huge hill on Michigan Tech's campus, and when I went the day of, it was just torn apart. When I went a week later, I didn't recognize it. It looked like a dirt road, and I called my mom crying. It was just so moving just to see these people who didn't even live in the Upper Peninsula. They were coming from the Lower Peninsula. They were coming from Wisconsin, different parts of the UP, driving 3-4 hours to get there to help. And just the fact that they put it together so quickly. And as I'm sure many of my my Upper Peninsula family can attest, when I would ask them, what drives you to be up here? It was just kind of, well, this is what we're supposed to do. Why wouldn't I be up here? So it was kind of that Upper spirit, quote unquote, that just, the town was put back together, and just seeing the progress that it's made, seeing, being first on scene, that devastation, and then just a complete turnaround. That was, I still get chills thinking about it even now.
Now, I know that you have a new Facebook page, so where can people find you if they want to learn more about you, or if they want to kind of follow along in some of the things that you're working on?
Yes, well, my professional Facebook page is Julie Williams Journalist, and I would love if you would follow along. I like to post on there just to keep, followers kind of in the loop. And if you have story ideas, of course, that's a great way to connect with me. I always want to hear what's going on. I think the best way to learn about the area that you're in is to get to know the residents of the area that you're in.
So everyone, we've been talking with Julie Williams, our new anchor of Fox 47's morning show. You can see her from 7 to 9 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. So please do make sure you tune in to Fox 47 to see what's happening every morning. And Julie, thanks so much for being with us. And everyone, feel free to reach out, say hi, and go over to her Facebook page and say hi as well.
Thank you. Have a good day, everyone.